Grady Sailfish 272 with twin Yamaha 225s on it. Cruise at about 4,000 RPM. We're doing 20.6 gallons per hour. We're doing 31 miles an hour. Alright? Now, we have both my engines trimmed up above 3, one bar above 3. We have my bow down a little bit, about 5 seconds on the button, just to stable the boat. And we're making good time. We're doing about 10 difference. That's what I like to do. I like to do between the fuel gallons per hour and miles per hour. I like to have 10. Anything less than that, or anything more than that, you're really freaking lucky or really bad. That's about as best as you're going to get with this boat. 10 numbers difference. But we'll show you how to trim it just right. Have a beautiful day on the water. To have a general idea of what you're actually doing to the boat, everyone says that they can actually trim their boat right. I don't believe anything. I work at a marina. People come in, oh yeah, my boat's doing fine, I'm trimming it just right, but they come back soaking wet. It's like there's no reason to be soaking wet when you can trim your boat just right. So basically what we're doing is that the boat's cruising like this. Just look at my hand for reference, okay? Now, picture the boat still like that. Now, you're taking your engines, okay? These are your engines now. You're actually angling your engines up like this, okay? So now, you have the boat still going level, but the engines are going like that. So you create this V right here, okay? Now, remember, your bow is not actually in the water. It's actually further back, probably about less than 3/4, okay? Or even less than a half, depending on what size boat you have. You want to get in just that sweet spot. Now, right now, we're just sitting at idle. Now, we're going to trim the boat just right. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to zero my engines out down to about number 2. Alright, that's 2 trim. You don't want to go all the way down because I'll bury your bow. Right about 2 is just about fine with me. Zero out your bow planes, okay? That means bring them all the way up. You put your boat into gear. Alright, now, just to get up on plane, you're probably going to get about 3,500 RPM, about 3,000 RPM. I'm going to go a little bit more than that. There we go. I'm at 3,300. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is you don't want to touch your bow planes yet. You're going to trim your motors up. See how the RPM's picked up there? You can hear it. Now I'm doing about 3,500 RPM. We're going to bring the motors up a little bit more. Alright, so now they're at 3. Now I'm doing 3,700 RPM without even touching the throttles. I'm actually doing really well. I'm doing 20 gallons per hour and doing 29 miles per hour. See, look at that. I'm not kidding, okay? That's pretty efficient right there. Now to smooth out my ride a little bit, I'm going to put my bow down a little. My bow planes. Smooth out the ride a little bit. It's not bad. If you notice down in the left-hand corner, the fuel management dial, or the fuel management gauge, it'll tell you whether or not the motors are synced. So we're going to take a look at that in just a second. Like I mentioned just a minute ago, you'll see in the lower gauge, the engines are not synced. Alright, oh, there it goes. Oh, it just flashed up. Sometimes it's just a little off, but they're pretty much synced. 3,900 RPM per motor, okay? Doing 30 miles per hour. We're doing about 20.5 gallons per hour. That's about as efficient as we're ever going to get with this boat. If you notice my trim, right at 3, alright? Now my bow is down. You have to take my word for that with my bow trims. Going over a wake right now. Now I'm going to use my autopilot. I'm going to turn to the left a little bit so I'm making the video. There we go. See, look at that. We just turned. Woo, we just turned some more. Autohelm really doesn't like high speed. So that's pretty much how you want to trim the boat. Now, if you notice, if you listen close right about now, I'm going to be quiet. You notice that harmonic noise? The nice even tone? That's what you want. If you notice right down here, it says sync. That's both the engines turning at the exact same RPM going through the water. You want that, okay? That's pristine timing right there, okay? That's the most efficient both of your engines ever going to get to each other, cruising at that speed, or cruising at the same exact RPM, I should say. So this is just a quick little how-to on how to trim your boat, or at least a 1998 Grady White 272 Sailfish. Remember, it's all about miles per gallon, not miles per gallon.
I hope in my